Hey, what's up? And these pro-Palestinian protests are getting out of hand, and they're getting really freaking stupid. Apparently, one of the protesters lit herself on fire out in front of a Jewish consulate in Atlanta, Georgia. My God, just a bunch of stupid, idiotic people who's chanting, "From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free." If they only knew what that fucking meant. They're calling for the genocide of the Jews with that phrase. And they can get away with it here in America because they know they're safe. They know that if they're chanting that stuff over on the Gaza Strip with their little cardboard signs, they wouldn't last 5 minutes. They would be the next round of hostages that President Biden would be kissing Hamas's ass to get out of the Gaza Strip. The way I see it, it's just a bunch of little Gen Z snowflakes who so desperately are trying to grasp onto a cause just so they could have their voices heard. And all they're doing is doing what their Democrat masters want them to do. Because all they are is foot soldiers for the deep state, for the DC swamp. First they marched in the streets for gender ideology, and when that didn't get a rise that they wanted out of people, then they marched in the street for trans rights, and when that didn't help them get their cause over, now they're marching in the streets for free Palestine, free Palestine. See, what they don't know is the Palestinians aren't a real race. They are a hodgepodge group of Turks and Arabs that has no connection to the land of Israel. All this, Israel's occupying Palestinian land. No, they're not. That's their land that was promised to them by their God. The Palestinians abandoned that land for over 100 years. And then when they came back and saw people had occupied the land that was already the Jewish state's land, they wanted to reap the rewards of what the Jewish people had already did. And this whole movement over here in the United States, they wouldn't know a Palestinian that walked up and slapped him in the face. All it is the radicalization of our young people by a international terror group known as Hamas. And personally, I kind of hope Benjamin Netanyahu wipes Hamas out, because that's the only way the land of Israel will be able to live in peace with every single member of Hamas dead. Even the higher ups, even the military leaders. And if there's somebody out there that disagrees with what I'm saying, one of you little pro-Palestinian idiotic son of a bitches, fuck off. You don't like this country? Leave. We don't want you here. If all you're going to do is spread hate against Israel and spread anti-Semitism. Now, I was watching the committee hearing today about anti-Semitism in higher education schools. Congress is actually talking about defunding Harvard, NYU, Berkeley, all because they are not cracking down on this anti-Semitic bullshit going on their campuses, where Jewish students are feeling threatened and are getting death threats and are getting bullied and are getting attacked just because of who they are and what their faith is by a bunch of little white, preppy, yuppie sons of bitches who wouldn't know what genocide is if you wrote it on the chalkboard and asked them, hey, what's that word? They want to say Israel is exterminating the Palestinians. Wrong. What happened on October 7th, 2023, was an extermination of the Jews by Hamas, which is a fringe terroristic group of Palestinians who's being funded by the Iranians because they want to see Israel wiped off the map over there. And y'all are touting Hamas and the pro-Palestinian bullshit. Do you know what the Palestinians think about America? Do you know what Iran thinks about America? Do you know what Hamas thinks about America? They chant death to America, death to Israel. So if you want to jump on the Palestine will be free bandwagon, go over to the Gaza Strip and stand there for 5 minutes with your little cardboard cutout signs. Palestine will be free from the river to the sea. You will be shot on sight by Hamas. Either that or you will be taken hostage, raped, dismembered, burned, tortured. 40 Jewish babies were beheaded on October 7th. 40. Now, where is the genocide here? Where is the apartheid here? Not with Israel. All Israel is doing is trying to defend itself from one of the most brutal, evil, genocidal group of terrorists in history, Hamas, which is funded by Iran. And now you got Hezbollah attacking Israel on the northern front, which is also a terrorist organization that is funded by Iran. Iran's the little puppeteer over there. They've got Hamas attacking Israel. They've got Hezbollah attacking Israel. They've got the Houthis attacking one of our ships in the Gulf, helping an Israeli tanker. They fired 2 cruise missiles, or no, actually no, 2 ballistic missiles at our ship and the Israeli oil tanker. Come on, Gen Z, you need to get your head out of your ass. You're always complaining that the older generations are the reason why you have no future. That we destroyed the planet. We didn't destroy nothing. Y'alls are destroying the planet. Your little generation is the most fucked up generation I have ever seen. You can't even how's that word go? You can't even dignify what a woman is. Okay, there's in Gen Z, there's women as an umbrella, and there's guys cosplaying as women. One of the biggest cosplayers, Dylan Mulvaney. Dylan Mulvaney practically ruined everything for women over here in the United States. Ulta Beauty, Tampax. Now, how are you going to be a spokesman for Tampax when you ain't got a vagina? You got a twig and berries. And I was so happy when I found out that she had, or should say he, I don't even know why I said she, because he is not a woman. He has a twig and berries. Normalize the bulge. Normalize this. I was so happy when I found out that Dylan Mulvaney left the country. And I was so hoping he would never come back. Because he did a lot of damage for women's rights and everything else. And then I was watching something the other day. They gave him Woman of the Year. Not even a woman. I mean, hell, they gave Kim Kardashian Man of the Year for GQ, and Kim Kardashian is a woman, not a man. See what you did here, Gen Z? You freaking made everything a next day. I'm a big fucking furry wolf. Stupid asses. That's why me and a fellow friend of mine think that Gen Z is the biggest moronic idiots walking the face of the planet. Because of all this stupid shit. Cancel culture. Oh, I don't like this. This hurts my feelings. This hurts my sensibilities. I'm Gen X. I was raised on Saturday morning violent cartoons. G.I. Joe, Transformers, Silverhawks, Thundercats. I was raised to drink out of a water hose. Let's see. When the street lights came on, that was your curfew. We didn't have cell phones. We didn't have social media. Our social was networking with kids in our neighborhood, playing fort, riding bikes, playing on a big wheel, going over to your friend's house down the street, watching TV, playing Atari 2600. The biggest regret that I think that my generation made, we invented Facebook, we invented social media, we helped invent cell phones. The phones that we had in our houses growing up were landline. The old rotary or sometimes push button. You wanted to reach out and touch somebody on the phone, you walk over to the wall or you walk over to the end table, pick that phone up, dial the number. Hey, how you doing? Hey, can I come over this? Yeah, that's how, we did things back when I was growing up. We didn't talk back to our parents, and if we did, we couldn't sit down for a week. And it was okay when we were kids. getting a beer for your dad. Here, son. Or here, daughter. You want a drink? At like 6, 7, 8 years old, getting our first taste of alcohol as kids by our parents. Hey, son, you want to drink a? You want to? Yeah, you want to sip a beer? Sure, Dad. That's where Gen Z was the tops in the generations compared to the previous generations, like the greatest generation and boomers. Millennials, they're fucking useless. Gen Z, learn from millennials. They're even worse. And I'm hoping, I'm praying that the next generation, Generation Alpha, tells Gen Z to go fuck themselves. I am actually raising a Generation Alpha. She's 8 years old. And I'm teaching her how to think for herself. And she's a smart little girl. She really is. And I'm teaching her how to think for herself and not stay on social media all the time, because apparently, thanks to Gen Z, social media rots your brain. And she's 8. She doesn't like TikTok, never wants to get on TikTok. And I kind of am hoping that they do ban TikTok here in the United States. Oh, it's not real history unless I see it on TikTok. You dumb motherfuckers. Seriously, you dumb motherfuckers. How about you crack open the history book and actually read history? Instead of getting our monuments from the Civil War torn down, removed, defaced, all because it's a part of history that you don't want anybody else to remember. All because it hurts your sensibilities. Well, how about you take your sensibilities and go ride a hard cock? Now, with that little rant out of the way, I really wish all this anti-Semitic bullshit would stop. Like Rodney King used to say, can't we all just get along? Pretty soon, this whole Israeli-Hamas war will be over, and everyone can go back to normal, hoping. Like the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade this past Thursday. People was gluing themselves to the street, all over a stupid war, kind of reminiscent of Vietnam. Somebody yelling at the camera that our taxpayers' dollars are paying for the genocide of the Palestinians. The Palestinians aren't getting genocide against them. Israel is getting genocide against them from Hamas. Who's Hamas? Palestinians. If you want to jump on a bandwagon, learn your facts first. Just like they used to say back in the day, knowing is half the battle. Apparently, this new generation is stupid and wants to fight battles that they have no business of being in. They just need to put their little heads down, crack open their college history books. As a matter of fact, crack open any college book, go back to school, graduate, move on to the next stage of life. I don't care what the hell that is. Stripper, OnlyFans, dancer, hooker, and leave everybody else alone. And there is another thing going around. The gag order from the appellate court up there in New York. They reinstated the gag order on Donald Trump because he was excessively threatening the judge, the court clerk, the prosecutor, the judge's wife. And only 6 hours after the appellate court reinstated the gag order, he doubled down on his attacks on the judge's wife. I used to be a Trump supporter. Well, I kind of halfway am and halfway not, thanks to a friend of mine. But he's going to get thrown in jail because one of the stipulations of the gag order is if he doesn't stop his attacks, there will be jail time waiting for him. Oh, yes. You could see Donald Trump go to jail if he doesn't stop his verbal attacks on the courts. And I mean, heck, even Fani Willis down there in Georgia, she's preparing to take him to trial in the next 30 days. But the judge in the case is saying that if he is appointed the nominee for the Republican Party, the judge may throw the case out because he can't down in Georgia. He can't go to trial down in Georgia because he's a Republican nominee for president. Oh, but the D.C. court is way different. The D.C. court said that it doesn't matter if he's a nominee or candidate or what. He's not exempt from going to trial. Nope. Oh, and another piece of news. George Santos was successfully expelled from Congress today because of a House ethics investigation. And George Santos walked out of the chamber and walked out of the Capitol, says, I got tired of this fucking place anyway. I didn't want to be here. This is a crazy time we're living in. Crazy, crazy time. Even, what's her name, Nikki Haley, said the world is on fire. And I honestly believe the world is on fire. I mean, look at inflation. Look at the gas prices. Look at all the stuff happening. And next year is an election year. It's only going to get worse between now and election time. And all those court cases Trump's involved in, they're ramping up. The January 6th case is set to go to trial on Super Tuesday, March 4th. Fani Willis is hoping to have him in prison before the new year. if at all possible, the way she put it, by the end of January, she wants to have him in prison. If he did the crime, he needs to do the time. I hear a lot of comments, oh, this is political witch hunt. Oh, this is this. This is that. It may be. Nobody knows. It may all be a political witch hunt. Because I did kind of find it ironic that they weren't going to even do anything until he declared he was running for president in 2024. As soon as he did that, that's when Merrick Garland, the watchdog for the Biden administration, came out with the special counsel. And came out and said they were going to indict Trump. Right after he declared he was going to be a candidate. Gee, doesn't that seem kind of fishy? I mean, you never know. You truly never know. All right, subscribers, you all have a good night. And I will leave my Patreon in the link down below. If you have any show ideas or any short ideas, please leave a comment down below or go to my Patreon, leave a comment. Y'all have a good night. Peace out.